Good morning, crypto warriors, for the second time, and welcome back to Gym in the Crypto, episode 1103. Today is Friday, June 9th, 2023, and I'm King, here to bridge the gap between the community and crypto every day, Monday through Friday at 10ish. Of course, we've been taking a few weeks off, but we will be back to normal scheduling programming starting next week. Top stories of the day: SEC sues Coinbase for breaking U.S. security rules. SEC sues Binance and U.S. District Court for unregistered security operations. Binance.us suspends USD deposits, warns of fiat withdrawal pause. SEC complaint hints at why Brian Brooks resigned as Binance.us CEO. SEC lawsuit: 67 cryptocurrencies are now seen as securities by the SEC. And U.S. House Committee releases new stablecoin bill draft. And of course, we will be talking about the new iCoin wallet upgrades. We're going to have them back on our show here soon for you all to give them all your questions that you had in the background. I've noticed you had questions, so we're going to make sure we get it as well. All right, now we're working. I'm not sure what was going on the first time. I tried to do the live the first time. Wasn't working. Who knows what's going on, but I've seen the comments now starting to promulgate. There we go. It popped up on YouTube this time, so I don't know. Maybe even YouTube missed this, but I wasn't working just a minute ago when I tried to do this the first time. But we're back. OC Benji, what's going on? Clip BTC, True Beliefs, Honey Developer, Wakwanji, Alipio, 64 ECG, 11 Super Mario, JB, Junior Maley, Tommy Brown. Good morning. Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Really quick, by and large, for the most part, Zan's been moving around as well as myself. I had to give up this beautiful view here soon. My apartments are telling everybody they need to leave so they can renovate the building. So I've been apartment hunting or house hunting out here. Ziz's been doing the same thing, but all is good. We'll be back next week with more dailies. But woo, I mean, again, when you really look at the landscape, we haven't missed much, folks. We haven't missed much. We knew regulations would be incoming, as they always do, of course, after the new year, throughout the first quarter, and we weren't wrong on that. The price has been pretty much the same. You haven't missed anything in crypto by and large, but let's go ahead and get into it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and look at these prices. Bitcoin's coming in at $26,681, down 0.99, or excuse me, up 0.99%. We got Ethereum at $1,851.33, up 0.11%. Number 6, XRP at 53 cents, up 3.37%. Number 8, Dogecoin at 0.069 cent, up 2.78%. I actually want to mention this one. Solana's at $19.06, up 1.24%. And Polygon Matic is at 77 cents, down 0.07%. Now, of course, if you've been paying any attention, I literally haven't been paying that much attention with the exception of the headlines. I've seen what's going on, how this market is moving. And that's the SEC and the government are trying to say, you know what? Let's stop playing around and deliver this it's not Bitcoin, but the crypto market a death blow. So it looks like that's what's been going on in the background here. Some of the trending coins is Pepe still trending, up 6.38%. BNB down 1.03%. And ChitCat, I almost said ChitCat, which is up 21.46%. Recently added projects to bring our list now probably to 24,000 cryptos. Milo project, Playa Bull Games, or something, 3 Yule Games, and Landwolf. So more added to the token watch. All right, let's see. Laura Smith. No, we really haven't been on, exception with the Fridays. You know, I did JP Barrick, shout out to Mining Store last week, and the prior week before. I cannot even remember off the top of my head right now who we had on, but everything is all good. And yes, this is crazy. Todd said, I think Polygon should start moving with the intent of being a direct competitor of Ethereum in the future. I mean, Polygon and everybody's about to have to start moving with the intent that the government is going to try to do everything to sabotage and shut down their projects, what I think. Let's see. I think your mic is coming through your ear pod. Oh my goodness. Thank you for telling me that. Let me go ahead and check that out. Wow, it is. This is a true statement. Hold on one second. Thank you for this. Thank you for this. So the microphone, boom, it should be back set. Let me know if you hear that microphone back set. Look, my settings even forgot what I was using. We're all good. I should have the microphone set up. Let me know if you can hear me clear this time. All right. Top story of the day. Let's go ahead and jump into it. I mean, all these stories need to be covered. They're pretty much the same. Okay, big time clear. Cool. They're pretty much the same. And that's the SEC has lost its goddamn mind. And for my Bible Belt folks out there, I already heard all y'all crying, complaining at me when I was a youngin', and I said God. So I didn't say God. I said got, G-O-T. They have lost their goddamn mind. That is right. First and foremost,
let's go ahead and look at this SEC story. Of course, we got to talk about one of the biggest. SEC sues Coinbase here a few days ago for breaking U.S. security rules. And I'm not covering every last story that has to do with these cases. The SEC are clearly going after any crypto it can. What I want to highlight, though, is that this is not only happening from the SEC, they've also had states jump on their back. So there's a ton of states who are backing the SEC and doing their own essential lawsuits and security rules and so on and so forth toward Coinbase, as well as Binance itself. So just keep that in mind. For everything we talk about today when it comes to the SEC and the federal probes, it's also happening at the state level. I'm assuming because the federal kind of gave them guidance to do it, but it's happening at the state level as well for the Coinbases and the Binances of the world, or at least of the U.S. So the SEC lawsuit alleges that Coinbase operates as an unregistered securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. Woo-wee! Hold on. You all know I got to play it. We've been gone. I don't care. I have to play my one of my things. Hold on. And I don't actually even know if let me know if you can hear the background. I just realized I switched my microphone. You might not even be able to hear the background, so I won't play it. But essentially, it was the one that was like, from here on out, nothing goes down unless I get mine, right? Like nickel bag sold in the park. I want in. This is that to me. It's kind of hilarious. There we go. Todd already know. I want in. Everybody knows. 11 Super Mario. This is interesting to me because how many times do we say it? Like this whole, and we've had how many CEOs on here, project people from different projects, professionals, and their whole thing is like, hey, you got to work with the government, the SEC, and regulators, and blah, blah, blah. And our whole thing is like, hey, it's too early for this. We're still innovating, and they're literally trying to crush it, not enable you. Well, there were companies like Coinbase that said, oh, well, so what? You guys are just talking BS. And they decided to partner with the government, right? They decided, you know what, United States, we're going to be a regulated exchange. We're going to do everything you ask. And, everything's going to be perfect. It's going to make us bigger and brighter. Gotcha, bitch. No, honeypot. You got honeypot at Coinbase. It is what it is. You went for the bait. You went for the cheese. You gave up some of your customer information. We know that already. You're giving up all types of data points for different customers. And now you're literally bending over backward for the SEC. First, you all weren't allowed to do your lending program, which I think would have actually made Coinbase a lot of money, and they probably needed it at the time. However, it could have saved them as well because we all saw what happened to most of these lending platforms. But just the fact that they wanted to, and the Coinbase or an SEC didn't even come to Coinbase and say you couldn't do it. They went to the public and said they can't do it, right? So it was one of those things. To me, it was kind of embarrassing. It's like, hey, yeah, this is my friend. I'm trying to work with him. We're doing all this stuff together. He like, fuck yeah, we ain't friends. In fact, you owe me some money right now. Like, there's nothing good going on over here. To me, this is the same thing with Coinbase. They have literally bent over backwards for the SEC and the government. They've done everything for the most part, they've asked. They tried to be this regulated exchange, which we said doesn't even make sense or exist because Bitcoin and crypto is made to be peer-to-peer. It was not made to go through any type of exchange, especially not a regulated one with centralized points of failure. So just the idea of an exchange didn't even make sense to us. And these are the reasons why, though. Coinbase fought as hard as they could, but it looks like it is about over. Their stock price, of course, has dropped since this happened. I think about 20% at the time when the SEC came out. You have to remember, people who are invested in Coinbase stock are on the traditional side. We're talking about institutions, multi-billion-dollar institutions, banks, so on and so forth. Not everyone. I saw Kathy Wood, ARK Invest, went back into Coinbase, but a lot of people are running for the hills. Not only because of the SEC going after Coinbase specific, but because those same companies understand how American business work and how our American government work. And essentially, if the American government, if the SEC can't take down Coinbase per se, they'll go after ancillary businesses. They'll go after the investors, the customers, so on and so forth, and they'll take them down, or at least threaten to take them down so that they can leave Coinbase, weaken them, and make it a little bit easier for the government to do their job. So, or at least their perceived job in their eyes. But again, this is the SEC lawsuit. United States Securities and Exchange Commission filed a lawsuit against New York-based crypto exchange Coinbase for offering unregistered securities. And I say to you all out there listening, again, if the Coinbase and Binances don't stand a chance, like this is why we taking the last 3 or 4 weeks off. I was about to go crazy. It's like people, Coinbase don't stand a chance. We don't stand a chance against the government. Okay, like that's what it is right now. It's crazy right now. It's draconian rules. It's unfair. All that good stuff. but it is what it is. Gang is going to be a gang, and that's what they're doing right now. Again, this SEC lawsuit alleges that Coinbase has never registered as a broker, which to me is crazy. If that is the case and you all feel like that from the SEC, how and why would you allow them to go public? Like, this is the stuff that to me, I consider to be wholeheartedly un-American. It is un-American. If it's an American company trying to work with the government, regardless of what the market is, right? Crypto or beans, I don't know, airplanes, whatever it is. You have a company trying to work with the government, going through the steps they told you. Then you become public. You're a public traded company. So all of this madness that's going on with the SEC, this should have been solved before. How and why would you allow a multi-billion-dollar company who has all the right people in place? You remember they hired a TD Ameritrade guy, the PR person from Facebook. They're making all these big hires. So they have the ear of the government, and they're trying to do this step-by-step the proper way. They do all of that. They go public, and then a year or two later, you say, actually, you guys never registered as a broker. You shouldn't have been public. Why would you not tell them that before they go public? Like, come on. Why would you not tell them you are not allowed to go public as a publicly traded company? You're not like, are you crazy? They allowed them to say they're worth $100 billion, go public, lose a lot of new people money. And now the SEC is coming around and really crush them. Like, no, they never even register as a securities broker. This is madness to me. And this is the drama that's going on in our space right now, where it's like, well, SEC, can you tell us exactly how to register as this and what to do and how much it costs and so on and so forth? And they're like, no, the guidance is out there, right? You need to do it on your own. So you're not going to tell me how to do it. You're not going to show me how to do it. You're not even going to warn me that we're not doing it when we launch our business. And then a year or two later, you're going to come back around and say, hey, we never did it and we're in some trouble. That is crazy right there. That's super un-American, especially coming from what should be a regulator. You're supposed to regulate, help businesses in America, not fucking press them. So it's kind of crazy to me. National Securities Exchange or Clearing Agency, they never registered as that as well. Evading the disclosure scheme for securities markets. The SEC alleges that several tokens, here's where it gets spicy, folks. And I'm sure you all have already seen this last few days, but got covered. The SEC alleges that several tokens offered by the crypto exchange, including Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, the Sandbox, all of your old favorites from 2021, Chili's, and honestly, who is from our Discord group is working with the government. This is like the whole list we had in the Discord group. Let's see, Internet Computer, Near, Voyager Token, Dash, Oldie but goodie, and Nexo qualify as securities. And again, my pushback is all of these companies and projects have now been around for years. So why, years later, are you now saying, hey, you all are actually securities? I know why. I'm just saying. I'm just proposing a question, folks. I know why. This is the way you destroy a company and destroy a person's soul. But again, you can see this U.S. SEC Commission tweet today. We charge Coinbase for operating this crypto asset trading platform as an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency, and for failing to register the offer and sale of its crypto asset staking as a service program. That's really what it's about. That is really what it's about. That whole staking, anything that's happening on the DeFi side of the house, that is anti-government to them. That is what it's about. You all did that staking after we told you no to lending and everything else. We on your ass. We on your ass. And that's what happened right here. Here's another tweet. You simply can't ignore the rules because you don't like them or because you prefer different ones. No one's ignoring them. You're not telling us the rules, SEC. The consequences for the investing public are far too great. While Coinbase's calculated decisions may have allowed it to earn billions, it's done so at the expense of investors by depriving them of the protections to which they're entitled. Oh, there's that big protection word. You know what that means. Yeah, this is kind of crazy, but by and large, yeah, I mean, they want to go after Coinbase. I guess Coinbase didn't pay them enough, and they want that back pay. So again, that's Coinbase. That's some of the crypto assets, and we're going to keep rolling to the next one because the SEC said, we ain't done yet. We ain't done. But hey, I just want to point out once again, this could have all been avoided. We tried to get the market and the community to stand in solidarity, and we tried to say to no regulations. We gave plenty of reasons why the government does not. And this Coinbase, thank you, Coinbase. Perfect example. We keep saying the government is not making laws and making moves, especially in this sector, for the right now. They're doing it, and they have plans to do it for the next 50 to 100 years. So what I mean is, when we do these little things like allow government in, or all of a sudden we pass these bills in different states where, well, it's legal to mine here, or it's legal to do this type of crypto trading. It's already legal. When you allow them to pass those bills and stuff to say now is fully legal and we support, we don't need that. Because when you do it, you're also opening up the door for them to say, it's illegal. It's not right. We shouldn't be doing this. And that's the direction they actually want to go to, because it is this whole system of cryptocurrencies breaking the traditional system, of course, right? So Coinbase was a perfect example of the government actually honeypotting them, saying, hey, just work with us. We'll figure this out, blah, blah, blah. They did it. Everything seemed to look good. Then the first one came. Hey, you're not allowed to lend. Okay, I thought we were good, but whatever. Then the second one came. Next thing you know, SEC is just suing you over your actual company and its practices. When you're like, whoa, bro, I thought we was cool. Like I went through you for everything. I hired your ex-employees. They're like, nah, this is right now. If Coinbase survives, could you imagine what the government's going to be pressing them with here in the next 5 or 10 years? It's going to be even broader, more lawsuits, more of the same, X, Y, and Z. And this is for a company we don't even like. You all know we don't like Coinbase. We've had how to get off Coinbase. That video has been up since 2018, and I would still ride for Coinbase in this case because this is madness. It's definitely unfair, and it's definitely un-American as it gets. I mean, I feel like we need to charge some of the SEC with treason at this point. It's like, why are you in everybody else's business? These are grown adults choosing to do what they want with their value, but we know how that game goes. All right, next up, SEC sues Binance in U.S. District Court for unregistered security operations. Same thing. Hey, listen, hold on. Let's call him out. Mr. Wonderful. Hey, Kevin O'Leary. Oh, my. Hey, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to press Kevin O'Leary for Binance if I ever see him. Like, I'm going to listen, this is what they're talking about right here. I'm going to press Kevin O'Leary for Binance. Binance, while they've been having their issues and everything else, this is another perfect example of trying to work with the government. Fine, United States, we won't do Binance in the U.S. We'll do Binance.us. We'll placate to only your country. Since you're so different than the rest of the planet, we'll placate your country. We'll do just the Binance. We're not doing a Binance Australia. We're not doing a Binance Russia, a Binance South Korea, a Binance. We're just doing a Binance US, and then we're doing Binance for the rest of the planet. How crazy is that, right? But whatever, because the U.S. is such a gang, they abided by those rules. And what happens a couple years later? Got you too, bitch. I don't care. You try to placate to us, you try to be our friend. You ain't gang. We coming for that money. And who started it to me was Kevin O'Leary. If you remember during that FTX hearing, that boy could talk about everything else, but he himself in the FTX deals they were doing behind closed doors. If you remember Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, who is one of my favorite sharks. This guy knows how to structure a deal. He's very intellectual in the business space. So it definitely caught me off guard and by surprise when he used groupthink to kind of partner up with FTX. But before he partnered with FTX, his messaging was Bitcoin is not blah, blah, not real, not good, nothing to worry about. Don't invest in it. It's bad, blah, blah, blah. All of a sudden, FTX gives him $15 million. And he's like, you're not even doing Bitcoin right. You're not doing it with FTX. Bitcoin. He started singing the praises. And even to this day, the guy doesn't see anything wrong with that, which is crazy. And I'll be honest, like, I don't know if they're doing another season of Shark Tank, but between him and Mark Cuban and their crypto moves, like we might need to find some new sharks. Kind of sucks to say that. But getting back to it, if you remember during that House, I think it was like a House or Senate committee hearing over the FTX, Kevin O'Leary was like, hey, guys, while we're talking about FTX, we need to be talking about Binance. They're the largest, most unregulated exchange on the planet. These guys, you don't even know what they're. I mean, he literally turned into Jordan Belfort off the Wolf of Wall Street when that FBI agent sat on his boat, and Jordan Belfort was like, I mean, we're just the new kids on the street, on the Wall Street, on the block. We're just trying to make some noise. We're the new kids. But he was like, hey, these other guys, man, they've been committing all types of crimes the last few years. Like, if you ever have any questions about any other company on Wall Street, any of these banking, Jordan Belfort from Wolf of Wall Street was like, hey, I'm here to help you. I'm here to assist the government with these other companies. That is exactly what Kevin O'Leary did. I mean, just again, to me, it's disrespectful to the people who've been defrauded by FTX, because it's like, Mr. Wonderful, you had a professional stand in the U.S. where a lot of people followed you, believed in your investment advice, and so on and so forth. He was actually one of the people I didn't even press that much as far as being a BSer for the most part. Like, the dude knows how to structure deals and knows about business. So it was kind of left field. Maybe, I don't know, maybe one of his houses were going to go to foreclosure during COVID and he needed some quick money or whatever. I don't know what the reason was for him to do the partnership, but the fact that he did a partnership, did a 180 on the crypto market, and all of a sudden loved it, And then after getting caught with his pants down throughout the whole fiasco, to start pointing fingers at Binance, shame, 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 Kevin O'Leary. Shame. You used to be my favorite shark, man. Like, come on. You over here pointing fingers at a Senate or a House committee hearing because you did something wrong with FTX. You want to bring up Binance. That to me was incredible when it happened. I'm surprised more people didn't call it out. But yes, ever since then, the U.S. has been like, you know what? Kevin makes a good point, and he's one of us too. Let's go ahead and investigate what's going on, and investigate they did. It looks like, according to regulator, Binance failed to register as securities exchange and operate illegally in the U.S. Again, people, they went to Binance.us. Do you know how much money it cost them to make that move and how much money they actually lost doing that move? If this were the case, they literally should have just kept Binance as is in its entirety and not even did a Binance.us move to placate. But again, Binance, CZ, I hope you're listening. Brian from Armstrong from Coinbase, I hope you're listening. And every other project, CEO or founder, whatever, especially those that are leaving their traditional jobs of the traditional sector to come over to Bitcoin. We don't need you coming over here speaking for the entire community and saying we need more regulation. No. You need to read more to understand what's going on in this market. We don't need more regulation because this is what's happening. They are playing the long game, and they are just trying to get their hands into everything in the space, period. The United States Securities Exchange Commission, again, filed a suit against Binance, its U.S. platform, and CEO Champagne Zhao in the district court for the District of Columbia on June 5th. I have to be honest, too. I always wonder how this works. Like, if you're on the other side of the game, if you're messing with the BRIC side, right? Russia, Iran, India. If you're messing with some of these countries, like, what happens when the SEC and all these people do this? Do you laugh at it, or do you actually, like, I don't know, like, send a lawyer over to the U.S. to figure it out? If I was CZ and had that type of money, I would laugh at it. I would laugh at it, and I would hire a shit ton of mercenaries. And every day I do a podcast on YouTube and on Apple and all that, with the essentially saying, come and get me. I wouldn't care. I really would go all out. I'm going to spend all these billions of dollars publicly fighting back a gang, because that is what's happening right now. And I know I'm a part of it. It's just, I don't support this type of stuff. Here it is, CZ Binance. Our team is all standing by, ensuring systems are stable, including withdrawals and deposits. We will issue a response once we see the compliant. Haven't seen it yet, or excuse me, the complaint, I'm assuming. Haven't seen it yet. Media gets the info before we do. Again, this is the crazy part of this whole space. When the SEC had an issue with Coinbase, we found out first, before Coinbase, or at the same time. Something is not only wrong with that process, we know something's wrong with it because it's intentional, but it's absolutely insane. This is CZ coming out saying media gets the info before we do, and I believe him. There's been plenty of times we get into some of the hot news and it's like, yo, did the company even know this is going on right now? So it's unfortunate to see him actually admitting that. But again, the U.S. regulator pressed 13 charges against Binance, including unregistered offers and sales of the BNB and Binance USD tokens. Essentially, they launched that BNB token and made a lot of money, and they didn't give none to the government. That's what happened. And the staking program, same thing. You're doing staking. Why isn't the government getting taxed? So, in addition, the SEC alleges that the suit that Binance failed to register is Binance.com platform as an exchange or a broker-dealer clearing agency. Further, it claims Binance and BAM Trading, Binance.us legal entity, failed to register Binance.us as an exchange, broker, and clearing agency. CZ was sued as a controlling person. Says here, according to the suit, defendants have enriched themselves by billions of US dollars while placing investors' assets at significant risk. Defendants have engaged in multiple unregistered offers and sales of crypto asset securities and other investment schemes. Hey, Binance. Chris said Binance doesn't have the political capital that Coinbase does in the good old USA. That's true. But if I were Binance, I would push back. I would actually try to essentially countersue, saying that the U.S. has inadvertently stopped United States citizens from making money on Binance. Because here's the deal: Binance specific, before the whole Binance.us had to happen, all that, like, Binance was the cool kid. It worked. Everyone loved it. Like, let's be clear about that. Binance had their time in the sun, just like every other exchange has their 2 or 3 years. It had its time Before Binance.us came out, Binance was the cool kid. Everything worked, money going on, money going off, trades going in, trades going out. It worked. Point blank, period. And that's all we're looking for in this space is an exchange we can trust and that works because we're dealing with our value. It worked. Like, it stopped working and started having issues when the United States started putting its foot on its throat. So to me, this is, of course, the complete opposite. We know what the game is. The United States is mad that they are not receiving any money or not enough money from Binance, especially the back pay when they were just Binance, and then also the staking pay they're not getting as well. This is all about money. Point blank, period. I just saw something the other day. This is totally off topic. I saw something the other day about why the U.S. military essentially hasn't intervened with cartels. And when you get down to it, it's literally because of trade between the U.S. and Mexico. It's kind of hilarious when you look at it. It's like, oh, yeah, we're not messing with the cartels because it might mess up our Mexican trade partner. Money. You got to love it. It is what it is. Good old US of A. All right. That's for the most part this story. Gary Gensler has a statement. He said, as alleged, Zhao and Binance misled investors about their risk controls and corrupted trading volumes while actively concealing who's operating the platform, the manipulative trading of his affiliate market maker, and even where and with whom investor funds and crypto assets were custodied. Again, if we're going down this route, SEC, this is literally, and we've told you all this is every exchange, everybody. Like, you cannot say throughout we've been saying it through the years because we used to trade aggressively. And back in the day, okay, first, I'll say the first time I noticed going back, Poloniex. If you remember, Poloniex had a troll box we always talk about. It was amazing. It's basically like our chat. Everybody's in there talking while you're actively trading throughout the day. Based on that troll box, you can at least get an idea of volume from serious traders, people. Because the same people be on there it's 24/7. It's like 24/7 exchange. It's 24/7 trading. It literally became like the hangout spot. You just go to the troll box, see what's going on in the market, talk to people, whatever. Eventually, of course, they removed that troll box once the pump happened in 2017, and they needed to increase support in other areas. So they asked some of those moderators, they essentially hired them. It was like, hey, can you come help us with our exchange? Instead of just doing the troll box. But my point was, when that time was happening, we used to see the daily volumes and trades and all this other stuff on CoinMarketCap and all the other things. And it seemed to be way off to the people who are actually in the troll box and the different type of trades that are actually going on if you're on the platform. So it was one of those things where it's like, I'm actively trading every day. They claim this amount is going through. I know I'm doing this amount. And it's just something's who are these people trading here? Where is it coming from? We just weren't seeing it. That was the first time. And then fast forward, Shittrex, they went through some stuff where they were doing all types of wash trading and sending different money and depositors money in different directions. Of course, Bittrex is now being sued by the SEC as well. So my point is, every exchange does it. The reason why they do it is the same reason why people on social media feel the need to have a blue check and to have a bunch of followers and everything else. You all love yourself so much you have to be the cool kid in the room, even though you're not the cool kid. It's pretty funny. But the exchanges are the same way, except I give them props because they're doing it for money. They're not doing it just to be the cool kid. They're doing it for actual money. And you could argue the people who want the blue check marks and all the followers are probably doing it for money too. But some of them are just doing it to be loved. But I say all that to say, when it comes to Binance, and some of the moves they're making in regards to this, hold on, let me bring this up really quick. And this trading that they're doing, the reason why they do it and the other exchanges do it is because it shows confidence in the exchange, right? If you can say, hey, if one exchange says what realistically it may be, we had $10 million of trading volume today, and another exchange says, man, we had $100 million of trading volume today in the last 30 days, then you'll say, oh man, this other exchange has way more liquidity. It's way safer, so on and so forth. But the reality is that the exchange themselves are actually wash trading within themselves. So excuse me, the way it essentially works is that the exchange, we already know sometimes they'll trade against you. So if you're one of those people who like to use leverage and margin trade times 20 plus, 30 plus, if you suddenly miss that or it goes the opposite direction, that's usually an algorithm on the exchange that is literally trading against you. And then they also have algorithms and bots on exchanges where they just trade within themselves. So maybe they'll buy Bitcoin at one price and sell it right back at a similar price 3 hours later, and they'll do that throughout the day. And that creates that fake volume. That's that wash trading we're talking about. So when I tell you everyone's doing it, every exchange is doing it, people. Like I'm telling you now, there's not one exchange not doing that. And the reason why is because it brings more customers to your exchange. So I want to make that clear. The fact that the SEC is going after Binance for doing that, like everybody's doing that, bro. And then it's also one of the things, if you're paying attention to the market, it's almost kind of expected. It's like we've talked about it. We see it. Okay, it's not right, whatever. But they've been doing it. Like, really? Are we going to go to the Federal Reserve and go through all their shit and be like, what are you doing, behind closed doors? It's no different to me. So I would say the only difference is that, of course, the SEC are not getting money from them. They want money. But the suit claims that tokens traded on Binance Exchange were securities. Of course, those tokens are BNB, BUSD, Solana, Cardano, Polygon, Filecoin, Cosmos, Sandbox, Decentraland, Algorand, Axie Infinity, and Coty. In a blog post on Binance, the company wrote, from the start, we have actively cooperated with the SEC's investigations and have worked hard to answer their questions and address their concerns. I agree, which is why they made Binance.us. People, they literally did. While we take the SEC's allegations seriously, they should not be the subject of an SEC enforcement action, let alone on an emergency basis. Any allegations that user assets on the Binance.us platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong, Binance.com added. The SEC's actions here appear to be in service of an effort to rush to claim jurisdictional ground from other regulators, and investors do not appear to be the SEC's priority. Woo! Who said that? Who's spitting that fire? Okay, that's the PR person spitting fire over there at Binance. Listen, hot fire bars right here. I love this, and it's true. Let's break this down. Any allegations that user assets on the Binance.us platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong. So yes and no to that. There is a yes and no to that. I'm going to be fair. The yes to that, where no customer funds have ever been in danger or anything on their platform, is true because Binance has deep pockets, right? And what I mean by that is, again, they made Binance.us because they couldn't operate Binance here. So I do expect the funds that go to Binance US, that's probably being like transferred straight to Binance in general, which would make the securities case real as far as like protecting people's funds, because they're commingling funds from different exchanges. However, they own both. Like at the end of the day, it's CZ's wallet. So I agree with them. Is like, we might take all the funds off Binance.us and send them somewhere else, seemingly like FTX did. However, in this case, they're like, this is what they do in the market. Like, they want to do this. They've been doing it. They have Binance. They want the US to be a part of Binance, not Binance.us. So yes, I do understand why they're doing it like that. I actually agree with it. If it was my company and I had a huge company that was a world-renowned company, and then one country said, no, you need to do something different for my country, then cool, I'll do things differently. And then I'll transfer all the capital from that one specific country company to my main accounts globally. So that makes sense to me. But with that being said, in the same sentence, technically the US is right on that one, as far as they are more than likely commingling funds, as many platforms are, especially international ones who have just specific isolated projects or platforms in the US like Binance. I can see them doing that. It makes sense to do it from their point of view. However, I also agree with Binance, where it's like, that doesn't mean the funds are at risk. Like, just because they're not keeping it in the Binance.us does not mean the funds are at risk. So I do agree with them with that part. But I do see where the US is coming from as well. Let's talk about the second part. The SEC's actions here appear to be in service of an effort to rush to claim jurisdictional ground from other regulators, and investors do not appear to be SEC's priority. Again, this is my point. Who were the people or peoples? I want to see a list of them that said, United States, SEC, Binance has been destroying us. We need your help. Outside of Kevin O'Leary, I haven't heard or seen it. So with the exception of this past year, and let's be clear, I'm not saying Binance is perfect. They've been jacking up the past year or two, but they started jacking up after the government put their foot on its throat. It wasn't like all of a sudden Binance just started messing up every day. It was like, no, we started messing up when the government was like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this. And they've been trying to work with them. So again, this is kind of crazy to see. Allegations against Binance are not new. An SEC investigation of Binance reportedly began in June of 2022. And Binance has called for reports of mismanagement of funds conspiracy theory. Again, it's technically true. Like, just knowing how these exchanges operate, they are mismanaging funds in a sense, right? But here's the thing. especially in this new market. It's one of those things where, like, do you want them to do everything by the book? Because if you do, you're not going to get those. I mean, I won't even go crazy with 100. You won't get the 30+%. You're going to go more down to where the traditional market is at 10 to 15% on some of these different cryptocurrencies. Or do you want them to be brand new and innovative as they have been? Try new things. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does. But by and large, they make sure customers have access to their capital and funds, until recently, of course. But so my point is, like, Binance has always made sure it's done. Now, is that a slippery slope? Yes, we've seen it with FTX. We've seen it with plenty of crypto companies. But it becomes, to me, an even slippery slope when the U.S. has their foot on their throat, and then they're like, now I still try to operate. And it's like, come on, man. Like, you're making it pretty impossible for them to do that. Let's see. Price Cobb said, no, unethical and a breach of trust. I'm thinking about commingling funds that we were talking about. Laura Smith said SBF did the same thing. Commingling of funds is not okay. So listen, this is my thing. It's not, but I'm not sure how they will operate without doing it. Because again, if Binance.us, let's say, for example, they were keeping all the funds in just Binance.us and not to the Binance centralized one, or the central one, I don't know how that will work. To me, if anything, those funds would be under even more duress, the ones that they keep instead of commingling. And the reason why is because those funds will be available to United States regulators. And you're out of your mind if you don't think, oh, Gary Gensler is about to get his cut. Like, so I see why. Again, this is what I'm saying. I kind of get it. Like the one country who's pressuring you, you don't want to keep your funds with that one platform. Period. As a company, because again, that country will essentially go after that platform, which is essentially they're doing anyway as well. Let's see. SEC is to market, justice is to law, protect the status quo, and his main beneficiaries, crush any threats. You already know it. Let's see. What's up, Chris? Right now, Coinbase, Binance, and the crypto guys are looking to pay off who they can, work with regulations to stop their competition, and pull up the ladder for startups. How the game plays the game. Yeah, I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, this isn't about paying a fine. This is about getting out of the way. So this will never be over. The SEC will not ever stop coming after them until they literally say, you know what, we made our money and left. Now, this is where I come in, where I've been saying the past few years, to the Brian Armstrongs from Coinbase, to the CZs from Binance's. I mean, even which call it that had BitMEX and stuff, Arthur. FTX, you too. Y'all are making billions of dollars and clocking in the next day. Make your billions, sell the company, sell it to the government. Shit, since they are so excited about it. I mean, if you remember, Bitrex's number one creditor was freaking the OFAC people, United States folks. So if you're going to create these multi-million, multi-billion-dollar projects, we're not the old school people. You have more ideals. Sell the projects, get away from them, get out of them, especially exchanges. Create a popular exchange, sell it for a few hundred to million, a couple billion, and then recreate the new exchange on the DEX. That's what everybody's been doing now. All these project founders who are smart, they just recreate another exchange as a DEX or whatever. There's so many ways to do this. But one way of not doing it is what they're trying to do, I think, the Brian Armstrongs of Coinbase, the CZs, the Binances, they're actually doing the traditional way of things, whereas it's like, no, this company, we have to hold on to it. We have to blah, blah, blah. Like, we have to be in control. We can't leave it. It's like, sell it. Uncle Sam is coming and he not. It's a lot of these Uncle. It's a gang, all right? Uncle Sam runs a gang. I hate to say it for those who don't know, but it is what it is. So with that being said, if you create a successful crypto project and the government is like, yeah, we don't like that, you should tell the government, I don't like it either. I just sold it yesterday, bro. You need to talk to these new people. That don't got nothing to do with me. Take your money and then start a new project. The technology keeps evolving. It doesn't even matter what you do yesterday, because literally in about 4 to 6 months, there's going to be new tech in the space to allow you to do a brand new project, especially if you have the capital resources to back it. So I say to all these project founders out there, like, sell your company and stop it. Like, to me, that's the best thing you can do in order to make sure the government is playing that game of whack-a-mole, because if not, they kind of can key in on exactly who does what, and that's what they're doing when it comes to these big exchanges. They know who's behind it, where the money's at, so on and so forth. Let me see. Kevin O'Leary, Binance. Let's see. I want to bring up this Kevin O'Leary, FTX hearing Binance. When he called out Binance, I think that's pretty important to hear that one again. Let me see if I can find it. While I'm looking for that, I want to give a quick shout out to our show sponsor today. Again, iCoinTechnology.com, our show sponsor. We'll have them back on the show here soon again. But right now, you can get 30% off all iCoin bundles using the code TGOC23. That is in the comments, or excuse me, that's in the description at the end of the video. And something else I like to let you know is that iCoin, shout out to iCoin. I've been joking with them lately. I was like, oh man, you guys are on your way to being one of the best wallets and then being the worst wallets. And the reason why is because they've just actually upgraded their wallet. For those who already have it, you should be able to receive that software update. But essentially, you can send messages and now with your iCoin wallet. That's right. You can send secure messaging with your iCoin wallet. I'm super excited about it. I should be getting mine this weekend in the mail. I believe they were shipped to me yesterday. But with the new iCoin wallets, you'll be able to have secure messaging features with it. So essentially, Signal, WhatsApp, all that good stuff, encrypted messages that you can send to other people, save, all types of stuff. We kind of went through it briefly, but I have yet to play with it. So I'm pretty excited this weekend. Hopefully I get them this weekend, not next week, to test them out. But again, with 2 iCoin wallets, now you should be able to send and receive encrypted messaging. And you can also, from what I'm pretty sure what I was explaining, you can also send it to that iCoin app. From there, you can send it to your actual different places in your phone, email, whatever, with those messaging, that messaging still being secure and encrypted. So I was giving them a hard time because I was like, this is amazing. I love it. I was like, you about to have all the bad guys on the planet using it type of deal. But the flip, I was like, so how long is it going to be for the government to be like, hey, y'all got encrypted messaging now? Like, what's up? You ain't come talk to us about this. But regardless, again, using that code TGOC23 gives you 30% off all iCoin bundles. They will be on the show here soon, probably next week, week after soon, to answer some of your questions. I know you have a ton of questions, a few different people. There's been some troubleshooting things. Some things just need to be updated, but they're going to be back on the show to answer your questions. I want to make sure you know that. All right, let's see. With that being said, we were talking Binance. Really quick, not going to go over this entire story. Just want to kind of share this headline. Binance, this was about 10 hours ago or 11 hours now, suspends USD deposits, warns of fiat withdrawal pause. Binance.us said the moves are part of efforts to protect customers and the platform amid extremely aggressive and intimidating tactics by the SEC. So, you know me, whenever I see the word protect, I don't believe it. In this case, I kind of believe it, though. Binance is like, look, we don't, and shout out to them. Like, how often or ever do you see an exchange or a crypto platform saying, we don't want any more of your money? We don't want your deposits. We don't see that. We even saw Celsius, when they were about to go bankrupt and freezing withdrawals and all that, they still were actually allowing deposits. So was a couple of different FTX platforms. They were allowing deposits when they froze withdrawals. A few people have done that where they will pause withdrawals, pause them draws, but they say you can still give us money. It makes zero sense. And to me, that's the most fraudulent thing ever. But Binance, shout them, they're actually trying to protect customers in that attempt when they suspend those deposits. To me, that's very important. It's like, no more new customers. We're stopping this altogether. And honestly, Binance is powerful enough to me where I would not have done a Binance.us. I mean, I'm sure they didn't know, but now you know how the government works, the United States government, the honeypot, you understand. But I wouldn't have done it. I would have stopped all access to United States customers. Hey, I use a VPN, you don't, but we don't got nothing to do with none of y'all. You all need to go talk to your government. That's what I would have done. I wouldn't even kept the charade going. But again, this is Binance.us. Announced a suspension of US dollar deposits and has notified its customers of an incoming pause to fiat withdrawal challenges early as June 13th. Shout out to Binance again. They at least gave you 5 whole days, people. They gave you 5 days. They're saying, hey, next week, June 13th, maybe we don't want to, maybe we do, but we're not going to have a choice. We're going to have to stop these withdrawals. The government's on our head, so on and so forth. At least they are giving you a heads up. Shout out to them for that. Let's see. The firm noted that in an effort to protect its customers and platform is suspending USD deposits. Furthermore, Binance.us is notifying customers that our banking partners are preparing to pause fiat withdrawal challenges. Oh, so it's not even them. Wow, it's their actual banking partners who will actually pause it. And again, this is what I mean by you go after the ancillary companies and people. You don't go after just Binance. Oh, you got banking partners? You have whales in your platform. We'll go after the whales and their businesses. We'll go after the banking partners. We'll go after any sponsors. We'll go after everyone top to bottom until you fold because you can't even have the customer base you thought you once had. So to me, that's what I'm reading here when they say their banking partners are preparing to pause fiat withdrawals. So, hey, shout out to the banking partners too. They made some money with Binance for them to give them a heads up, because the way the government works, hey, they're not giving no heads up. They just pausing it. So shout out to them for trying to make this happen. But again, the madness behind all of this is that it's happening to Binance.us, a company and platform they literally started because the U.S. did not like the original platform they have for the entire planet. We said we're different. We want our own thing. We got our own thing. Gotcha, bitch. No, we want all your money. We just want to say it like that, okay? Gang, gang. I love it. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but this is happening. So again, people, this is why you're not supposed to be leaving your funds on exchanges anyway. These things can come at any moment. It's not just Binance. So, don't leave your funds on exchanges. There's no bueno, no bueno, no bueno. All right. I could not see. I was still looking for this Kevin O'Leary. I don't want to hear the whole let's see. I don't want to hear the whole FTX thing. Kevin O'Leary hearing Binance biggest. Let's see if I can find this thing. All right. Let's see. I'll have it together for tomorrow for sure. I wanted to see that though. All right. Anyway, a couple more stories we have to cover. These that has to do with the SEC lawsuits. It's kind of crazy, people. It gets deeper. You all remember old Brian Brooks? We called this. Listen, when I think I shouted to Zay. I think Zay called it when he was like, Brian Brooks was the honeypot. If you remember Binance.us when it started, Brian Brooks, and I can't remember what Brian Brooks actually did. Let me go look at this article, see who he is. Brian Brooks, they hired him. I cannot remember which job. There we go. He was a former top banking regulator. I can't remember what kind. I think he was Office of Comptroller or something. I can't remember what, but he was like a big banking regulator, whatever. He literally, resigns, and then Binance.us hires him, right? Right after Binance.us hires him, he resigns from them 3 months later. Zay was saying, you know what? He probably went there, got all the information he needed, went back to his government friends. I kind of felt the same way. I was like, it definitely was a honeypot, either that or he saw something he didn't realize was happening and was like, I want no parts of this. But either way, it was a honeypot. And this is why. Brian Brooks, whether intentionally or unintentionally, he has friends at high levels. He knows these banking regulators, SEC, all that, so on and so forth. You don't go from being a part of the gang, one of the biggest banking regulators, and having all these friends in the banking regulation industry, and then go work for one of the hottest new companies making the most money, and none of your old friends give you a call or text and like, so exactly what's going on there? Like, what's happening? And you're not going to say anything back to them? I don't believe it. People, I have not been an active duty. I have not been in the military. I'm not even in the military since 2021, but I haven't been active duty since 2017, 2016. I still know about operations that go on last week, real operations. I'm talking about crazy stuff, special forces, so on and so forth. I have friends in special forces and throughout the military in high positions now, especially now. Some of my friends are like 05s. Some are about to put on freaking 06 soon, like in the next couple of years. I have high-ranking military friends. That's never going to change. If I ever have any question about what's going on in the military or something, I can text somebody, FaceTime, and call and get the real from an active duty, high-ranking member. You really think this guy, Brian Brooks, who made it to an even higher level in the regulator financial banking industry, don't have the same type of connections and friends to where one can just call him, hey, man, what's going on in Binance, bro? Should we do, or even better, he did his 3 months. He got in, got out. Hey, let me tell you what's going on over there. He talked. He's going to talk, not even saying he did it as an intentional way to get them to go down. No, but just water cooler talk. He's still a part of the gang. He still has friends he's worked with the last 20 or 30 years on Wall Street. He's going to talk. It's as not just him, everyone coming from the gang over to these new companies will. So I wanted to point that out. Like, yes, we kind of figured that happened. But doesn't it feel good to kind of have some might not be a conspiracy type theory, but it looks like the SEC complaint hints at why Brian Brooks resigned as Binance.us CEO. As of now, this is all speculative. It looks alleged. This has not been confirmed, but it looks like in 2021, when he stepped down as the Binance.us CEO, it was because, of course, it looks like according to a June 5th tweet from cryptocurrency lawyer James Murphy, known as on Twitter as Meta Lawman, the SEC complaint cites an unnamed source who ran Binance.us for a brief period of time in 2021. The dates correlate with the time that Brooks was the CEO of Binance.us, is what he is reporting, again, allegedly. It says here the SEC complaint against Binance appears to solve the mystery of why Brian Brooks abruptly resigned as CEO of Binance in 2021. CZ allegedly reneged on promises that Brooks would be given autonomy to run Binance US independently from Binance. Oh, I can believe him saying that. I can believe him reneging on it. That's pretty funny to me, but that was a pretty dumb move by CZ. Yeah, I can believe that. I can believe, again, he was forced into creating Binance. Yeah, I can believe these people. If you're going to force me to create something, then yeah, I'm going to hire a puppet over. I'm still going to control it, because that's not even what I wanted to create. So he was forced to create a subsidiary of his company just for the US. He was smart enough to hire an old, essentially an old ruler, an old legend of the US, right? Brian Brooks. He was smart enough to hire somebody who had already been a senior official, a senior regulator, all that good stuff. But he thought he can get away with disrespecting him. You can't do that, man. One thing I learned in PR, working with all these different admirals and stuff, I learned it super early on. They say whenever you get a new boss, whenever there's a boss, whether they're coming or going, they always want to do two things. If they're coming, they want to change something and leave a legacy, or create something, right? Create something new, so that it has their imprint on it. And if they're leaving, they want to leave a legacy. So that's important to remember, because it's kind of like the way you can deal with and work with these leaders, because it's like, all right, I got this new boss. He's an admiral. He just got here. And within 3 or 4 months, he's going to change something. I already know this. It's like he or she is going to want to change something to say, no, this is my program. This is the way we run it. I'm the admiral. This is the way we do it. Same thing. I work with the same admirals and captains when they're leaving. They got 2 months left, a month left. I want to do something, make sure the United States military knows it was me. This is what we did and we accomplished. Sometimes it's a big mission. They want to, hey, let's go blow some shit up. Sometimes it's building or creating something for other members, but they always want to leave something. And I say that to say Brian Brooks was a senior regulator taking over a brand new crypto company. You damn right he wanted to leave his mark somewhere. And so for him to get in that office the first couple of days and say, hey, CZ, I can't access these files or this stuff. And CZ is like, don't worry about it, man. You just relax every day. You don't have to do any real work around here. I can see him being like, nah, bro, you got this all messed up, right? So I can see that happening. Not sure if it did. I'm just over here doing my speculation and conjecture here. But again, this is Brooks, a former top banking regulator who led operations at a crypto exchange after replacing former CEO Catherine Coley on May 1st, 2021. According to comments cited in the complaint, Brooks quickly realized that he was not actually the one running this company. Again, this is all speculative. Upon recognizing this, he decided to leave, announcing his resignation just 3 months later. And again, that actually falls in the time frame of what I'm talking about. When I work with these military leaders, it's 90 days. It's a 90-day rule. Everybody knows it. They won't change anything to 3 months. They'll wait their 3 months to kind of see what's happening, what's going right or what's going wrong. Don't get me wrong. You do have some who come in hot and aggressive, like, no, I've done this before. We changing this shit today. I don't care what nobody think or feel. Like, I have the power. I'm going to do it. And I've seen that done. But usually it's a 90-day thing. Usually when new people come, they'll give it 90 days, and then they'll say, all right, I've seen the way y'all ran this and done this X, Y, Z, and done this mission this way. We want to do it that way. So to me, again, Brian Brooks, and no different. He did his 90 days, and he was like, nah, this not, for whatever reason, it's not for me, whatever. So that's neither here or there again. Upon recognizing this, he decided to leave, announced his resignation just 3 months later on August 7th. And let's see, Binance's chief communications officer, Patrick Hillman, has, however, pushed back on Murphy's speculation, adding that this might be one person's narrative, quote, and that it might not hold up to the test of time, end quote. So could be true, could not be true. But regardless, the things we know are facts is that, yeah, Brian Brooks did do 3 months and leave. You are absolutely insane to think he did 3 months at a high-profile crypto company that already doesn't have, like, your crypto company not about to hold you to an NDA right now, especially a foreign one. So even crazier thing, he didn't come back and get to talking about everything he saw and experienced. And last but not least, of course, Binance.us is now its own entity where the SEC is saying it may be commingling funds, which I can believe, because more than likely they're sending their funds from Binance.us to Binance in general. So again, the information comes in the wake of the US SEC filing a total of 13 charges against Binance. So they're going through it, as well as Coinbase, as well as Bittrex. And I mean, now that I think about it out loud, I'm not sure how many actual exchanges we have left in the United States. Gemini, shout out to them. They're still hanging around, but I'm not sure how many more we have left that has not been under the scrutiny of the SEC at this point. So Something to look at. All right, we're going to cover these last two stories in a moment. Let me go ahead and check out these comments. Todd said, yes, I was told by my NCO mentor, always observe the first 30 days in a new position. Exactly. Like, unless you really know what you're doing and everybody know when you come, like, for example, I don't know, like Jeff Bezos, for example, right? If he was going to create a new drop shipping company, like we wouldn't expect him to wait 39 days. He would just come in and be like, bro, I got Amazon. I'll show you how to do this right now. It's the first day. I get it. But by and large, it's like usually people want to know how people are working, the processes, and so on and so forth. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is true too. Walker Lambert said Brooks should have known not to take that job. Listen, how much you think they was paying a former, what was it? Let me look at this title. I think he was a former offensive controller or something, Brian Brooks. Let's see. American lawyer, banker, entrepreneur, former government. Yeah, he served as the acting comptroller of the currency for May 29, 2020. So yeah, I mean, he definitely got his pay. Like they probably paid this man a ton of money. Here, let me bring this up so you can see it. I'm assuming they paid this man a ton of money to come work for him. But like you kind of said, I think once he realized he wasn't in charge, he was like, "Oh, this y'all pay me to be just a talking head." He was like, "No. So maybe that's what it was. Who knows? Let's see. But he definitely should know not to take that job. I do agree with you. Let's see. Big Fact said PSC Wells in the military. He know about wanting to leave a legacy. It happens all over the place. People, this is actually like the worst thing. I'm telling you, I've done this now, I think 2 different times. Yeah, I had it twice with the admiral and the captain. When they want to leave a legacy, it is not fun. It's a lot of work, people, because they want to leave a legacy. And it's like, bro, you leaving, we're staying. We're still going to be here working every day, man. Like, come on. Let's see. Boom. There we go. Hey, Zyro, you picked it up. The Craft of Power. That's my book right there. Never, 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 never outshine the big boss. You know that. Let's see. Walker Lambert said he's talking about Catherine Cooley is dropping all the info as CZ messed her over by hiring Brian Brooks over her. Oh, all right. That's a different one. Okay. Hey, appreciate the tip. Thank you. K Bad Computer Science Realm. Much appreciated. Thank you. Let's see what else we have. See a couple more good comments. Yeah, there we go. Canez Mater said, ask them forces about the aliens in Vegas backyard. How come they don't show the backyard video? Listen, I saw that too. I don't know what to think of that right now. That's crazy. It's definitely some crazy stuff going on. The aliens are here, right? Let's see. Oh, here we go. STL Solo says, Zay's right. Gensler applied for a job at Binance before he got his SEC job. Honeypot galore. Ooh, wee. I didn't know that. If that's true, that is crazy. It's kind of like the FBI agent on Wolf of Wall Street again. When Leonardo DiCaprio, no, Jordan Belfort, he was like, did I hear somewhere you used to want to be a trader? And he was like, you've been listening or whatever. He's like, yeah, what happened? You should have came to Wall Street. Maybe this is the same thing where Gary Gensler was like, I wanted to work for a crypto company. I wanted to be one of the cool kids. I wanted to wear hoodies every day, but they wouldn't let me. So now I'm gonna make sure none of them get by. That would be a hilarious villain arc story for Gary Gensler, aka Mr. Burns. All right. Last couple of stories. You know, I was going to go today long since we've been missing out. I mean, it's what we've been talking about all day. SEC lawsuits. 67 cryptocurrencies are now seen as securities by the SEC. I mean, listen, I think it's safe to say straight up, we have not missed anything in the last few weeks. We knew regulation was coming. Regulation came. I thought the price would be down to 24, 23 by now. It's fighting back. It's fighting for his life. I know that. And I will say this too about the price. I still feel like we have a slight dip, but every day we get closer to happening, that chance decreases. I have to be honest with myself as well. But especially when all this SEC stuff is happening and is not severely dipping, this is a great sign for Bitcoin, the strength of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in general. But again, 67 cryptocurrencies are now seen as securities by the SEC. This is why, again, we're not cool with Coinbase. We still stand up for them when it's right. No, or I would say don't like them. Not cool with them. Not a big fan of XRP Ripple. Again, I used to really like it, but I thought they only had a 3 to 5 year lifespan regardless, because a lot of things they were trying to do, the government already essentially said they were going to do. So I was like, well, you're not going to compete with the U.S. government for the same thing. So I kind of already saw the writing on the wall. One thing I didn't think about for XRP, to be fair to all those fans out there, is that they don't necessarily need the U.S. as a seed, right? They could find a nice, a few other second, third, even third world countries to say, hey, you guys are way behind. Federal Reserve, United States banking systems aren't working with you. let us work with you. So I will stand corrected on that. I can see, and I'm glad they actually started going toward the international pool after the SEC attacked them. But I've always said, and I've been saying, I want XRP to win, because if they were to lose, 99% of the market is following behind it. So it looks like the SEC cannot wait. I take that back. I'm not going to say cannot wait. It looks like the SEC lost XRP. People, they lost. At this point, we're literally just waiting for the SEC to drop charges or something. And the reason why I say they lost is because if they could have taken Ripple down, as I said before, not only would they have, but if they take XRP down, then 99% of the market is already security, right? You don't need to do all these enforcement actions against 67 cryptos and that and the other. Since they're doing all this, that shows me that their case against XRP is actually super weak. And now they're trying to get these other cryptocurrencies to be known as securities. That way, instead of leading with XRP, taking them down and then going after the rest of cryptos, they're going after the rest of cryptos and then coming back around for XRP. You get what I'm saying? So if these new ones they're saying, these new 67 cryptocurrencies, which are now seen as securities by the SEC, if the federal government says, if the SEC is correct, then actually XRP will lose. Then they'll be like, oh, finally, we got you where you want you. If what are some ones they said? I can't even think. Let's see. I mentioned some of that. Okay, so we're talking Binance, USD, BNB, Cardano, some of your favorites, Polygon. Polygon, come on. If they're saying Polygon's security, they're coming back around for XRP, folks. Sandbox, Cody, we mentioned some of these. Solana, ADA, AXX, NEAR, ICP. I mean, literally, as this article says, the total number of cryptocurrencies in the United States securities regulator has accused to be a security has now reached an estimated 67. 67 cryptocurrencies they're saying are a security, yet they have really not been able to take any enforcement action against any of the bigger cryptocurrencies. If you remember, the only ones they can really get are some of the weaker ones, like Library kind of folded up to them. I understand. But the ones like Ripple, XRP, who had the bank to begin with, if you remember when XRP hit his all-time high, I can't even think of his name off the top of my head. The CEO, Brad Garlinghouse, he became the 5th wealthiest man on the planet. When they had their all-time high, he became the 5th wealthiest man on the planet. So that scared the shit out of regulators. They was like, we can't be having this again. We went after XRP. But again, I think that they're about to wear themselves thin, because if all these companies, they have securities here, you can see them all: Telegram's Gram, Library Credits, Amis Go, Dash, Algo, basically anything that's ever seen the top 50 at all, basically. I haven't seen this one. Liechtenstein Crypto Asset Exchange, Ken, no, that's Salt, Terra, Lock, Solana, Cardano, Mana, Decentraland, of course, Paragon, Air Token, Voyager Token. So if all of these projects were to countersue the SEC, they would stop. So that's like, this is the type of self-regulation I'm talking about, where it's like, we got to figure out a way to get in touch with all of these people at the same time, say, no, all of you, all 67 of you, file lawsuits back, press them. They don't like, the SEC don't like being pressed either. People like, they still average regular Americans getting paid by the government, not trying to get pressed 10, 12 hours a day. They're trying to do 6 to 8 hours, get money for some projects that they don't deserve, and go about their business. If those 67 companies press back, including Coinbase, including Binance, including XRP right now, if they all put 70 different projects and companies, if they push back and countersue the SEC, we will see this whole trajectory change. But I doubt that's going to happen, because I'm gonna lie, a lot of them are doing some shady shit behind the scenes, right? Some of them are. Not only that, there's this whole self-interest thing too, and there's this whole the government wouldn't do this to us. I feel like that a lot of people are starting to subside. They're starting to realize, like, no, they will, but for whatever reason, it hasn't happened yet. But yeah, if I was a project founder of one of those companies, I'd be like, yo, we need to band together and sue them back. This is absolutely insane. All right, last but certainly not least, we're talking about the U.S. House Committee. They released, oh my goodness, U.S. House Committee releases new stablecoin bill draft. That is right. And this is what it's all about to me. You take out the competition, you take out all the altcoins, you take out all the exchanges, and then you come back around and say, hey, we're going to be the ones doing this stablecoin thing, right? We're going to be the ones doing this crypto thing. And that's what's happening, as to be expected. I mean, listen, this is really a militant move just on the business side. The military will go and bomb some shit, boots on ground, clear it out. All right, here's your new president. Now we can be partners. Now we can do this and like this is the same thing. It's just happening on the business side of the house. The draft bill is set to go before the House committee for discussion on June 13th, and if approved, could become the first example of crypto legislation in the U.S. Now, blah 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 blah. There's a really important part of this that I really want to get to, but I'll just say the first paragraph. United States House Financial Services Committee has released the third draft of the stablecoin bill presented by its chair, Representative Patrick McHenry. The latest draft of the bill is bipartisan and includes specific proposals from Republican and Democratic committee members. The draft bill, titled The Future of Digital Assets, Providing Clarity for the Digital Asset Ecosystem, was first proposed on June 8th and is expected to be discussed during the upcoming committee hearing on June 13th. Funny that the upcoming committee hearing on June 13th, if you've been paying attention, also coincides with Binance's.us day to stop withdrawals due to their banking partners. Must be a coinkydink that Binance's banking partners are saying, hey, you have until the 13th before we stop withdrawals. And then this digital asset ecosystem bill is expected to be discussed also on the 13th. So what I'm reading is that someone, a part of this regulator ecosystem, essentially told all those bankers, we meet on June 13th. If we meet and Binance.us is still on the table as far as deposit withdrawals, that's y'all asses too. So that's what I'm reading about this. Let's see. Here it is. This is the paragraph that's the most important. The bill's latest version proposes the U.S. Federal Reserve as a key regulator tasked with formulating requirements for issuing stablecoins. However, at the same time, the bill aims to offer state regulators powers to oversee the companies issuing the tokens. Wow. So once again, we're going to have this private company that for some reason has too much power in the United States Federal Reserve. Again, a private company. We're going to allow them to be the key regulator to formulate requirements to issue stables. So they're going to make the rules, right? And then they're saying the bill aims. Look, you got to read the words. Aims. Oh man, I love this. I love it. I remember when I learned this stuff. Okay, so aims is this. This is what aims equals as well. I've done this so many times. You get asked a question, Fox News, is the military going to be doing this? Are you all bombing this? Well, we're scheduled to do this. This has been planned. This is tentative. All those words did not say that we're going to do it. We're saying that, this is the goal. This is the game plan, but it can change anytime. It's tentative. It's planned. It's scheduled. We hope to. Like, I just came off these off the top of my head, people. There's literally a sheet where we learned this whole sheet about how to do this stuff. It's crazy. But I'm saying all that because they're doing the same thing. We aim to allow the states to have control. People, believe me when I tell you this. This is one-on-one. You learn this first week. Aim to, scheduled, plan to. That's all we probably want. That is all there's a strong likelihood we actually want as well. We might not. Don't hold us to it. So the fact they say for sure the Federal Reserve is going to run this rulemaking, and we hope to have the states involved too. They're not. States not going to get involved. But this is what they want right now because they want the state support. They're about to honeypot the states the same way they do in these companies. This money's going back to the federal government. This money's going back to the federal government. It's not going back to states. It's going to the Fed. So again, I just want to point out where it says, however, at the same time, it shouldn't be a however. It should start off, the bill aims to offer state regulators powers to oversee the companies issuing the tokens. And then they can say, however, at the same time, we propose the U.S. Federal Reserve as the key regulator. That's not what they said, and they're not stupid. Like, when you write up these drafts, so many people see it and look over it. They're not stupid. They said it in that order and that way for a reason. The states won't have that much pull when it comes down to it. So they're getting honeypot the same way these projects and companies are. They're listening to the federal government, and gang gonna do them the same way. So kind of crazy, but hey, shout out to the Federal Reserve. Way to keep winning through, just hundreds of years at this point, or of decades at this point. It's kind of crazy. All right, that is the show for the day. For the most part, I'm gonna take a look at these comments, and I want to go ahead and end the show on this iCoin technology commercial. They have a suite of commercials out right now. They're pretty good as well. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure you all check those out. But again, the iCoin wallet bundles are 30% off using the code TGOC23 found in the description. And they also now have secure messaging. It's going to be working kind of like Signal and all that good stuff where all your messages are encrypted. Except the better part for this one is, unlike WhatsApp, those messages aren't encrypted and owned by Facebook, right? These messages are actually yours. super encrypted on your wallet. Again, I can't wait to test it out this weekend, so I'll make sure I'll get back to you on that. And again, they will be here next week or two to answer questions, AMA style, all that good stuff also. Let me see. Last couple of comments before I play that commercial. Let's see. Yep, they're talking about the IRS here. OPSEC by distraction. The sad part is that they won't come together. It shows who really cares about the actual community and the ideas of crypto. Talking about these different projects. Yeah, they won't come together. I have no clue why they wouldn't, but you're right. They actually won't right now. At least not until more start falling and failing. We'll see what happens, though. Let's see. They want to tax the off-ramp, says DM Car. I can believe it. They definitely want to tax the off-ramp. U.S. taxpayers will be paying to fight SEC and pay the legal costs when the SEC loses. That's true, too. And that's what's messed up. The U.S. taxpayers are footing this bill for the so the SEC versus Ripple and all these other companies. We're footing the bill. You're right. That is the messed up part about it. All right, and last but not least, just so I can give y'all one, this is hilarious. Lord Shiba said Doge and Shiba are clear. Yeah, it's for a reason they're clear, because the government is even looking at them like, no, nobody's gonna believe this, right? Just kidding. All right, other than that, that's the show for today. Go ahead and enjoy this iCoin commercial, one of their commercials right here. It's been pretty cool. And yeah, make sure you check out those wallet bundles if you haven't had one already. And make sure you update it as well to get that secure messaging feature and come with questions when we have them on soon. Other than that, you all have a good one. Cheers.
Playing in the crypto exchange sandbox made me rich. Once I bought miniature donkeys in Puerto Vallarta, take swimsuit models and wagon rides to the beach, and we'd ride on the backs of sea turtles sipping coconut margaritas. So good. My crypto bro warned me. He said the exchanges are like castles made of sand. He told me I really should put my Bitcoin into an iCoin wallet. I said, nah, I'm good. Big mistake. The exchange wiped me out like a rogue wave. Now I'm out here on the beach, looking for lost change. Now that's real. Can't lose that.